Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yay. Okay, so I'm really excited for this episode because we have the hot mamas from the hills. So we're letting everyone in on this little secret. My podcast listeners will now know that we have a secret alliance called the Hot Mamas from the Hills. They're
We're
now
hot
going to know that
mamas who live in the
in
hills.
the hills.
True.
So I've invited you all on to be my first Christmas episode in December to talk about toys. Yay!
Yay.
So I am excited, but first, before we do this, can you each just say hi and maybe say the ages of your kids so that people know your voice? So as they're hearing us talk, they'll be able to connect like whose voice is saying what. So Hannah, let's start with you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm mom to an almost 2-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Fabulous. Okay. Cassie and Danielle are on the same screen. So if you're watching this on YouTube, they're like a package deal.
Yeah, it's true.
With a sparkly bow.
Yes.
With a sparkly bow. Okay, Cassie, let's have you go next.
My name is Cassie. I have 3 kiddos.
I have a 15-year-old girl, a 13-year-old girl, and a 9-year-old son.
Okay. Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle, and I have 3 kiddos too. I have a almost 10-year-old girl, 8-year-old girl, and a 5-year-old little boy.
Fabulous. And then I have 23-year-old, 14-year-old, almost 12-year-old, 6-year-old. So we're like covering all the ages here between the 4 of us.
Wow.
This is amazing. Okay. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Definitely.
we are going to be giving all the amazing tips and tricks on what are the best and what are the worst toys to buy for children during Christmas. So whether it's mom and dad buying for their kids or auntie or grandma or neighbor across the street that just buys things for their friends because that's weird. No, that's not weird.
Not weird. We do that. Anyway.
So I want to start with the best toys because I feel like we should do that. So I have given you all homework to come up with the top like 2 or 3 best toys / presents. So I know at least one of mine is not a toy. And we're just going to kind of take turns going through what that is. So Hannah, since you started before, tell us, do you guys want to just like say, oh no, my battery is dying. I came unplugged. Please hold. There we go. Okay. Hannah, do you guys want to just say like your top 2 or 3, or should we do one at a time? I say let's just do our top 2 or 3. Okay, so Hannah, go. What are your top 2 to 3 gifts?
Yes. So I would say a couple of our favorites have been toys that also include some sort of sensory component.
Okay.
Because those are the ones that my kids tend to gravitate towards. So last year we introduced them to Squigs. They're made by, I believe, Fat Brain Toys. Love.
Yes.
And they are just like different shapes. Some of them have little suction cups on one side, some on both, some have 3 or 4, and they stick together. We also love to throw them at our windows.
Yes.
And try and get them to stay on the window, which is really fun. It's also just a great sensory experience to just like pop them off and just like pull at them. And so they're very engaging. You can use them in tons of ways. We brought them to my husband's parents' house. And at first his parents were like, what are these? And then we found them sitting there playing with them. So just saying, they're great for all ages.
Love it.
Squigs have been one of our favorites.
Okay.
And then I think this counts, but I think my favorite thing is truly when someone says, what do you guys need? Or what would help? Or what would be great for your family? Because I know some people surprise you, or I want to give you, this gift that I looked at and I thought of you, which I do respect and I understand. I think when you have a kid who has challenges when it surrounds toys, that feels really unpredictable for me as a parent. Am I going to be like parenting through these behaviors because of this toy that was supposed to bring us all, fun and joy? So it's my absolute favorite when someone says, hey, just shoot me a list with a few things. What would be great? And then pick something off of our list. So last year, my mom did that for us. And we got a big set of magnet tiles.
Oh, yay.
And those have been quite the hit as well. Because you can just turn them into anything. They don't make a mess. You can bring them in the car. You can bring them on trips. You bring them in our camper. They're so fun for all ages.
Cool.
So those would be what I would say.
Okay. Those were great. And squigs was
Yay.
on my list. And we like to put squigs in the bath.
Oh, heck yeah. They stick to the wall. They stick to the tub.
Yep. Love absolutely. Them. Yep. Or with shaving cream, but I know that's not something you enjoy personally.
Fun. No. Don't want to touch that mess. No, thank you.
So they can come to my house and do that.
Perfect.
Okay, Cassie, what about you?
So I think my number one is Legos.
Okay.
We can never get enough Legos in our house.
Yep.
And I will never turn down more Legos. My kids, even still, my girls still both love to build cool Lego sets, and Sawyer could play Legos all day, every day. And so you can never go wrong with Legos. Also, arts and crafts supplies.
Okay.
All of my kids love arts and crafts. So any kind of art supplies, I feel like my kids love. My girls are still working on their little diamond art that they got for Christmas last year, and they love that.
I think I know something who got that for them.
Yes, it's something they can sit and focus on and work on, and it's satisfying and pretty. And then one gift that I got for my kids a few years back that was so cool, if you have sensory kiddos, is called a purr bowl. And it's this little creature that it helps them learn to regulate and calm. And it's my oldest child was the one who loved it the most, but it purrs and kind of shakes, and then you pet it to calm it down, and then it gets kind of a cadence to it, and it's soft and fluffy and cute. And so those are really
cute
awesome.
Little
it does.
It makes these cute
noises.
Little. Oh no, that was just me, doggy. Peaches thought I was a cat.
Oh no,
because I said.
Yeah, it's the cutest little thing, and my girls especially loved that.
Yeah, I love it. We have one of those too. Actually, I think we got it from you. The one we have. Yeah. Okay. Danielle.
Hey, so mine was also gonna be Legos, but I have another one because Legos are just any building thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Play-Doh, I think, is a big one. When it comes to building stuff, I feel like my kids go through stages of loving Play-Doh, and it's safe. It can be messy, but it's not it sweeps up, it dries, it's not a big deal. And I feel we just go through seasons where my kids just dig out the Play-Doh over and over again. And so there was a period of time, especially when my older two were smaller, where we got Play-Doh a lot, and it was just so fun. And so we still have this huge, box of Play-Doh stuff and supplies and building things and whatever. So I love that. The other thing I really like is experiences. My family's really gotten into giving us experiences instead. And so we have going to different plays or concerts or anything like that, where it's more of a family group activity, or individual dates is something my parents do with my kids, which I love because it just provides a special experience for them. And we don't always really need a lot of stuff, especially as my kids get older. We just don't need things. And so I just really always love experiences.
Yeah, that's good. You guys, we all think alike. Here's my list. Sensory tools, which I had squigs on there. I had our sensory swing on there, and I had our little mini trampoline. But those were all ones how you were saying, tell them, here's what we would like, here's what would be helpful. All of those were gifts that somebody asked, what will work? And I said, here's some things. And those were all gifts that someone got for us based on saying, hey, could you get the sensory swing for our kiddo? Because it's not cheap. That's a great gift.
Yes.
And then experiences was on my list too. Movies is one that someone I know across the street from us likes to give my older girls for their birthdays, and they love it. They love when Cassie gives them movies, like going to the movies, not like a DVD. And so that's always fun. Or one of our kids got a date to the trampoline park with their older sister. So that, and then Legos was on my list also. So look at all of us. I would also say, this is just coming to my head. We got from Naya's preschool teacher, Miss Susan. Well, shout out to Miss Susan. Not this last year, but the year before, for Christmas, she got him this game called No Stress Chess. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
It's like anybody can play chess, because it's like you draw a card, and whatever the card says, that's the move you make. And so now Naya knows how to play chess because he learned what the little each piece does certain moves, and the cards taught him. And so now we can play chess because of No Stress Chess. So that was fun. I know. So that was a good gift that I just saw right there, and it popped into my head. So yay. Okay. Now let's go. Wah, wah. What are the worst gifts? Or gifts that like we wish maybe our kids didn't get, or like that we had to hide pretty quickly. Let's go with maybe top 2 of those. Hannah.
Like, am I kicking this off?
You're kicking it off.
Okay. It's funny because I was chatting with Andy, my husband, about this before we recorded, to ask him, like, like, what comes to mind for you or anything. And as we were kind of ping-ponging and chatting about the different things that came to mind, I swear our shoulders were just like creeping into our ears, like the different things that were like, oh, that was horrible. So one that came to mind was just like toys that break really easily.
Yes.
Because my boys are not easy on toys. We play with them to death. And if it's like a really cheap little toy that breaks, like sometimes within like 5 minutes, that is like a guaranteed meltdown, because, it's just like new and exciting, but then it's broken, and that's really devastating. So I would rather get nothing than toys that will break right away. Yep. And then the other one that came to mind was just toys that have aren't age appropriate. Yeah. That like have really maybe tricky parts or things about them that make it difficult for my child to use on their own. Yeah. Because that tends to be a point of tension, and a point where it's been like, throwing it or getting really mad about it because it wasn't age appropriate. And then we can't use it, and then we have to hide it, but then he wants it, and it's just the whole thing. So totally. Those would be the 2 I would say.
Okay. Cassie, what about you?
I would say anything that is loud or obnoxious. Or like you're not supposed to house to go to. Rude. It's just that I'm loud and obnoxious. The toys aren't loud and obnoxious. I am.
We can't have toys that are loud and obnoxious at Cassie's house.
They're going to steal my thunder.
Okay.
And that includes instruments. When you have children that are small, I don't want you to give them instruments, because they will use them all the time next to me. Yeah. And then gifts that are a lot of work for the parent to have to put together. Yeah. Because what will happen is the child will want it right now, and then I have to rush to try and assemble it. And
then you'll do it wrong. You'll do it wrong because you're rushing.
I'm going to cry. Yeah. They're going to cry. We're all going to cry. Yeah. Yeah. Neither of those things.
Okay. Danielle.
Yeah. I was going to mention too about like the setting up, like if it is a gift that needs to be set up, like a heads up ahead of time of like, hey, could you set this up? Like I've had family do that, like get a dollhouse and be like, hey, I'm going to send it early or whatever, so you can set it up, and then we can like have it set up a week in advance, or I make my brothers set it up so they can get it done.
Because that's what they're for. You know what I
mean? Yep. Because
that's so like, good. I love that.
Yeah, like just give a heads up. Noise before I can't stand loud noise, so yes.
Why are we friends?
It's a good question. But I was also going to say on the whole age appropriate thing, I also think, which was on my list as well, is not even for the kid sometimes, but sometimes for the siblings. Like, obviously, like I've got a range in children. And so like certain things like my 9-year-old is going to want that is more appropriate for her than my 5-year-old, which is totally fine. But when you have like little kids or like toddler age kids, and then you get like the 5-year-old something with a million tiny pieces that are going to end up everywhere. And then you have a toddler putting things in their mouth. I think just like being cognizant, especially like if there's kids in the home that are toddler age, maybe rethinking the gifts for the older kids that have like dangerous small pieces. Like that was just constant struggle for me for a bit of like gifts coming home and then just being like all over the floor. And then my toddler's trying to eat it all, you know, and it just is so stressful. And then basically what happened, like what Hannah was saying, where like, then you just stick it up high. And then 2 years later I find it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot we even had that, you know, but that would be, those would be my items that I prefer not to receive for my children.
Yes.
I very similar. I put like frustrating toys that don't work. Like we got these little parachute guys that you're supposed to throw up and then they like are supposed to float down. That doesn't work unless you're dropping it from like the top of your house. So, you know, like what in the actual, I'm not going to climb to the top of my house. Like I can't be 30 feet in the air to drop this. So frustrating toys that don't work. Cause then that be meltdowns. Right. And then noises and lights, that was on my list too. Like, I think this gift was actually from one of my kids to my son. So this was not an adult that gave this gift. It was, I want to say it was Kayana. So she was 13 last year. So she gave this to Naya last year, which was this Black Panther mask that first of all was like too big for him. So it was frustrating because he kept falling down. But then also like it had these lights that were on his face, like lights and sound, like right by his eyeballs, right by his earballs. And it just, I try to shove it to the back of the shelf of the toy shelf because Kayana would be devastated if I got rid of it. And if grandma had gotten it for him, it would have been gone the next day. But Kayana lives here. So, so lights and sounds, no bueno, no bueno. And then for our family, for one of our children in particular, who shall remain nameless, but you guys will know who I'm talking about. Any gun, like no guns, because then we just go to a dark place that nobody needs to go. And so any kind of gun is not good for this family. But I think that also goes back to like having that conversation ahead of time. Like if you're wanting to get, you know, like, hey, what would you think about us getting a Nerf gun for your kiddo? And then I can explain like, you know, most families that would be okay. Our family, not okay for very different reasons. So I think that's what it comes down to is just having those conversations, right? Of if you're going to buy something for someone else's kid, like talk to the parents, right? Okay, that was great. I have one last question before we wrap this up. I know this is a shorty episode, so I love that because who has time during the holidays to listen to a podcast? But this is all great information. But I have one more question for each one of you that you don't know about, which is, what is the best present you have ever gotten? So if we're talking to our audience to say, hey, no, as a mom, as a grown-up, as an adult, like, so that people that are listening can know, like, okay, this might be a good gift to give to my sister who has 6 kids, or to my mom who is a grandma and is tired because she's parented for however many 62 years. I don't know. So as a grown-up, what is the best gift you've ever gotten? Hannah?
My mom is so amazing with gifts, and she oftentimes will get me a massage or a facial for Christmas or her birthday. And if I asked her to babysit, 100% yes.
Yes.
Like she is just so generous with that. And that it fuels you in a different way to just like check away, go to the spa, get a facial or a massage or whatever it is. It's wonderful. So
I love that. That's a good one. That's
one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cassie?
I love a massage too. But finding something else, gift cards to go shopping for yourself.
Yes.
Because I feel like when you have kids, you are the last priority in the house when it comes to getting new clothes, buying new shoes, getting to go do something for yourself. And so getting to go do that is pretty nice, and it gives you a little break and just some self-care. But last year, a friend gave me this really cool color changing tequila, and that might be one of my favorite gifts I've ever gotten. So
gosh, that sounds like an amazing friend.
The tequila that
was me.
Because that is, I still have it and I use it sparingly, and it's so fun.
That's amazing. That was a pretty good gift.
Yes, it was.
Okay, Danielle.
Yeah, drink's always good. I would say, honestly, the same. I mean, anything that gives time to yourself, whatever that looks like going to spa or just like quiet time. Like sometimes my parents, this isn't necessarily like a gift at Christmas time, but like my parents will have my kids all stay overnight, and I'm a single mom. So it's like nice to have just a night where I'm like, I don't have to like worry about getting kids to bed. I don't have to worry about getting up first thing in the morning, getting them ready. Like anything like that gives parents time, I think is just such a beautiful gift. And, any way to do that, whether they go shopping or spa or whatever, is really nice.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, massage. I didn't even think of that one. I had said, actually one of the best gifts, well, there was two. One was John used to give me experiences every year. So like we went to Wicked one year, we went to Jim Brickner, who is a famous pianist, one year, and piano player.
It just glitched a little. So
I had to clarify. So I really liked that, but Haley maybe the year before, for my birthday, she got me a subscription to FabFitFun that she paid for the whole year. And then I did it for one more year and then I canceled it, but, only because I was poor at that point, but you know how that goes when you have to cut things out. But that was actually a really good one too, because then I just had this like gift that came, it wasn't just one gift. It was like every 3 months I got another gift, which was super cool. So I liked that one too. But yeah, experiences and breaks and getting to sleep in is all amazing too. So that's great. You guys, thank you. I hope that people listening have so many great ideas now, and hopefully because this comes out in December, they haven't already shopped and need to go return everything and reshop. But if they do, not my problem. Just kidding. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. That was fun.
Yes.
See you all in the streets.
Love it. In the hills.
On the hills.
On the hills.
Fare thee well. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.